here, going to Nazanin. Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Apparently we had you scheduled on the show before, but then you said you're Iranian and a war just broke between my country and Israel. I was really looking forward to coming on the show, but I need to be able to focus and feel better.
It was, remember what happened?
Is there a war?
No, it was...
there was an attack.
It was an attack. It was just, we were just sitting and waiting for it to become a war because it was just the first time ever that Iran basically threw those missiles. Like, I think it was hundreds of missiles toward Israel. Nothing happened, thank God. But that just was the first time that happened. And I was just like, I can't focus on anything else. It's just way too big. Because my parents live in Iran. Everybody lives in Iran. Okay. And I couldn't just sit there and talk about dating when that was happening in the background. Yeah.
Okay. Christopher Murphy with the $200 super chat. Thank you so much, Christopher. Fucking finally. Thank God. Chair 3 is out. I've never encountered that, man. I don't know. Usually you're like, if you it simply goes like this. But if you had to pick one, which would you pick? And then they just answer it. Like it didn't have to be that complicated. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
I don't know how she made it this far.
I think she wanted to.
Decisions.
I think she wanted to kill men. That's what she wanted to do.
That's why I said you're coming from anger, you're coming from fear. That's the resentment toward all men. Like for you to immediately think, okay, that man should be a bad man. So bear it is. That says a lot about how you think about men. And she's like, no, that's my experience. And I was like, yeah, that's in your head. This is how you see men.
Yep.
Yet at the same time, you're okay with some sort of stuff that you put out there, which would somehow bring make the chance of being subjected to those problems higher.
No. You know what, Jim Bob, tell me if this is a good comparison. It would be like if someone asked us, well, if we could get rid of all women to stop the abortions, the murder, I mean, maybe she wouldn't view it that way, but if like by our worldview, it's like, okay, if abortion is murder, you're murdering an unborn baby, an unborn child, we would both be like, no, we're not, that's ridiculous.
Even something more subtle like eliminate marriage because there's some sort of situation where women run, they run free with all the money after the divorce or something. Something horrific like that's in favor of them. Yeah. Anything that makes this like sweeping remedy that's that brutal. I mean, it was not a hard question to answer. Even the other gals answered it quite quickly. No, I would never eliminate everybody. Would you?
I would, yeah.
Oh, you would?
You would eliminate everybody?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think it definitely insinuates the worst when you don't answer.
Wait, so you would eliminate everybody to stop anything?
To stop, like you guys said, SA.
Would you stop, well, I mean, that's SA. What about, like, theft?
Theft? Probably not. I mean, I don't give a fuck about that, right? But SA, stuff that actually matters, like, no, dude.
So you would get rid of you'd delete 4 billion men?
I would, if I had the opportunity to just delete every person off this earth, I would.
Oh, okay.
FBI, open up.
Who laughs after saying something like that?
That's a clip. Wait, so that's like a version of her thing. You just have it about humanity. She just had it about men.
I don't think she feels that way about men. That's why she was having a hard time answering it.
But why do you feel that way about humanity, though?
For me personally, I just feel like I've seen the worst in majority of people.
Have you seen the best?
No, not really, no.
Wait, you've not seen good in people?
No, not really, no.
Really?
People don't show me their good side for the most part, so.
Really?
Yeah, for the most part.
Do you see the good in yourself?
I mean, yeah, but at this point, it doesn't matter.
Don't you like
the
SA
majority
trees?
of people
Aren't you a tree essayer?
I mean, if you consider kissing my hand and then putting it against
No
it.
consent.
I mean, the tree didn't give you consent.
Yeah, you don't
so-
know that. You don't know that. Have
What
you
if-
tried
what if
to
a- what if a
contact
tree-
me?
What we do?
I mean,
Hey,
but
what
if it's like if it's growing towards me, it must love me, right?
Wait a second. Wait a second. Other things can grow towards you,
Yeah.
and that can be involuntary. So I don't know if that's a good system for you.
But for like plants and stuff, it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different system.
Wait, can we get a TTS from like maybe redwoods or cedar tree?
Cedar.
What's
Cedars
like
are hot.
what's Canadian hemlock or some bullshit? I think that's a type of wood or a tree or something. Can we get maybe? Can you tell us if you consented to her kissing the?
We got Allah sending chats. We're gonna get
Allah,
different types
we're
of
gonna-
trees.
We're gonna get some trees. Can we get some? What are the?
Stop, that's so cute, like the little roots and stuff. Oh, Groot? Dude, yeah, that would be so cute. Do it, please.
What's your preferred terrain in Minecraft? What's your preferred
Maybe like
terrain
an
in
oak tree or
Minecraft?
something.
You messed up by thinking I play Minecraft.
Maybe like
Damn.
a maple tree,
A maple
chestnut,
tree.
chestnut tree.
Lately, I've been like into like junipers and probably
that's dope.
walnuts, but
I love that for you,
yeah.
Very niche.
Slay Queen.
But I mean, for the most part, I'm into mushrooms right now. I think they're beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
'Cause I hope you talk to
Okay.
trees.
Let's see here. Notes. We have Val.
God.
Tell us your catfish story.
Oh my god. You can just read it out loud because I wrote it really well.
Okay, fine. You said that you were catfished in 2010. Your older sister, her boyfriend, and you agreed to meet the man of the hour at a movie theater. You were 16 at the time, and he had just turned 18. He was a solid 300 pounds at least. All blubber. You were honestly impressed that he was able to crop all of it out on Facebook. You went on the date, but you were too naive to realize that you had absolutely no reason to feel bad for him. Due to your own apparent predilection for masochism, you proceeded to invite him back to your house. You ended up in the backyard where eventually he broke your mother's lawn chair in front of all your cherished loved ones. Apparently, humiliating you with his optical falsehoods wasn't enough, which you frankly still find to be quite unfair. Moral of the story, sympathy is hell's favorite pavement material.
Yep. And then I said all blubber, baby. Not just all blubber.
Oh, all blubber, excuse me.
All blubber, baby.
All right. That was cool.
That was the only thing.
And let's see here. Oh, you said how to leave an abusive relationship? You had some advice?
Oh, yeah. So I basically dated a guy that was a mean girl. And it was like, he would just say backhanded things to me all the time. And obviously that could easily wear you down. I feel like a lot of guys do that. So what I did was anytime he gave me something, if I found any truth in it, I would take it and I would change it. And by the time I was ready to leave that relationship, I was fully healed, way better person than I already was. Yeah, I feel like it just helped me a lot. And I feel like that's just good advice if people are in like, I don't know, like mentally or emotionally abusive relationships. I feel like that's the one solution that worked for me.
What were you doing to him that was abusive?
I wasn't doing anything.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you said you were in an abusive relationship, so I thought you might have been the abuser.
No.
Did you hit him?
No. That was
Financial
a
abuse?
reasonable question. No, he was just a mean girl.
Oh, he was a mean girl.
Yeah.
What was he doing
You know
that was
how mean
abusive?
girls act? He would just say, like, I'll give you an example.
Sure.
We're in the grocery store and it's crowded, so I make sure to stay out of everybody's way. And then we'll get in the car and we'll be like, you're in everybody's way. Like, just make me feel incompetent over time. It got to the point where a few years into our relationship, I felt like if I didn't have him, I'd be homeless on the street.
Wait, but hold on. So
I feel like he's a
wait, hold
narcissist.
on. So wasn't my question, what did he do that was abusive? And your first example was you went to a grocery store and you yourself were like, oh, I don't want to be in people's way. And then he said,
No.
whoa, you really got in people's way? That's the first example you give when I ask how you were abused?
No. What I said was, this is an example of like what he would do.
Hold on, let's explore that thing you just described though. Is
Okay.
that abusive?
So
Him saying you got in
It's
people's
kind of
way?
condescending.
if
Yeah, I don't think condescension is abusive.
If we were in the store and you were making sure to stay out of everybody's way, and then we left, and I was like, you were literally in everybody's way the whole time
was
you were
he
there.
saying it as a joke?
No.
So he was getting on your case.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
It's
kind of
like
weird, but I don't
constant,
think
like,
that's
little
abusive.
shit. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. It gets old, and
Well, okay, hold on.
if it's
So
like
he's
a
annoying.
one-off. Who
Yeah, I don't think
cares?
being annoying or a jerk is abusive.
I feel like over time, if it's intentional, I
Okay,
feel like
can't-
it can
what-
definitely be mentally abusive.
So wait, he was like, "Whoa, you really got in." Well, did you get in somebody's way?
No, I literally,
That's what she's saying. She didn't. She
you know,
was
that's just an
actually-
example, but it's
I
like,
mean, you
all-
kind of seem
aware
like
of it.
someone who gets in people's way, though.
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I kind of.
If I-
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
yeah, I'm pretty
You're
burly.
a fucking abuser. Oh my
I'm pretty
god.
burly.
Wait, did you like these little pecks? It sounds like there's a bunch of pecks at you, right?
Yeah, it just
So
gets
wait,
old.
do you say things back like?
I actually didn't for a long time. I was just like,
So he doesn't even know that it's bothering you.
well, at first, because I just thought something was wrong with me. There was another time where,
Well, that's not. Wait,
Oh.
he might have been a jerk, but that's you thinking when women think something's wrong with them. That's actually not a good excuse to make it about the person. Because let's say it's not a dude. Let's say it's your friend. If you don't say it, hey, don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, what if they just don't know? Like,
No, I
you know what
agree with that,
So,
yeah.
so what's like the threshold? Because you're saying it's abusive, but it sounds like you're abusing yourself by not just saying something.
yeah, and then it just adds to it because it's just like you're stupid, basically.
Yeah.
And I remember one time after work, I cleaned the entire kitchen, I redecorated it, whatever. And then he came home. I was so excited, and in the back of my mind, I was like, I know he's gonna fucking ruin this. And he came home, and I was like, hey, like I have a surprise. And he was like, what? You cleaned the kitchen? You know what I mean?
Hold on. Wait.
Like, he didn't
hold
give
on.
a
He was
shit.
like, "Isn't that obvious?"
Yeah,
Wait,
and I
were you
spent
working?
hours.
Were you working at the time?
Yeah, I worked full time.
Did you guys shared? You guys were living together, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you guys splitting the bills 50-50?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, what did he say exactly? He said,
He just didn't give a shit.
"Wait, hold on. He didn't." So, what? Can you be more precise in what happened?
Yeah, so say you
No, tell us what happened. Like what actually happened.
Sure, so
you cleaned
after
the whole
work-
apartment.
well, no, I cleaned, so our kitchen, like, I redecorated it. I cleaned every little fucking, like, crevice of the kitchen. And I was really excited about it. And I knew in the back of my mind when he came home and I told him, like, if I got excited, it would just be, like, stupid. So, yeah, like, when he came home and I was super excited, he just was like, who gives a shit, basically.
No, not basically. What did he do?
He said he came in and he was like, I was like super excited and I told him I have a surprise for you. And he's just like, what, you clean the kitchen? And then I was like, at least, it just sucks because if somebody does something for you, you could at least entertain the thought of like appreciation.
I mean, I understand, but
I mean, I'm not
I mean,
entitled to anything.
it's not abuse, but I mean,
Yeah, I was-
Like,
really,
over
really
time-
condescending.
If it's deliberate over time, that's a,
Is it-
You're
that's a
choosing
lot.
to stay with him though.
wait, but
I
is
agree. I agree.
sorry. Is it possible that you didn't clean that well?
Possible.
Come on, what the
I tried my best. At least I tried my best, though. You know, that deserves something.
No, that's valid.
She laughed.
That
She's a
deserves-
comedian.
That
It was
deserves
to-
something.
See how
Okay,
lighthearted
I'll
she
take
is?
it.
Look at her
Okay,
eyes.
Yeah.
I'm very jovial.
Hold on.
All right, that was
Look. So it's like it's kind of. Wait, did you ever get a haircut and he came home and he didn't say anything? He didn't notice that you got a haircut. Is that abusive?
No, he was constantly up my ass too. So it's like he was constantly up my ass. I couldn't really do anything. That's a whole
But like,
different
okay,
facet of
here's
it.
the thing. I feel like when you lead with my ex-boyfriend was abusive.
That's a little
You're
dramatic.
thinking it's so.
No, that's what you literally said.
I know.
So it's
no,
dramatic.
no,
Wait, hold
no.
on.
I'm not
Okay.
accusing you of being dramatic. I'm saying what I said was dramatic. I'm saying abusive.
That's what we're trying to focus on. Like,
What?
Do you are you being super hyperbolic then?
Wait, how can you be hyperbolic though
that's
about?
I feel like abuse was a dramatic term for me to use, for me to choose. I'm not saying
Abuse.
that
Crystal
what you're
abuse.
saying
No,
is
but
dramatic.
in the this wasn't just some sort of like accidental slip of the tongue. In your pre-show notes, you're like, how to get out of how to leave an abusive relationship. You have advice, and you're now talking about this guy who said that you got in people's way at the grocery store, whether you did or not, whatever. Let's say you didn't even, and then you cleaned the kitchen, and he didn't acknowledge. I'm sorry, that's not abuse. That's not abuse. Maybe he's a jerk.
Those things build up and make you feel incompetent and stupid. So it is kind of abusive to her.
Wait, it's what?
On a consistent basis?
For her personality, it is.
On a
Because
consistent basis?
the way she would take it is personal.
No. So? Why do we have to coddle?
Because
What?
at the
You
end
don't.
of the day, I mean, the fact that he probably had no idea
the same way with
that
men.
his words are
don't-
so
well-
affecting her
Wait,
in a
stop
very
playing with it.
negative
Just
shit.
put
way.
it on the ground.
Wait, why isn't? Oh, look. If she doesn't say something, is very clear with something like, stop doing that. That doesn't work for me. Like a man could just as well, using your standard, say that's abuse and be like, it's abuse for you to let this all build up against me and not say anything. I mean, well, I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to
Have
defend
you
that.
said something? Have you confronted him about
So
it?
eventually he was like, obviously he was like, I can't read your mind. So I would start saying things like that, and then things wouldn't change with him, but whatever. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because a lot of people deal with that shit. It doesn't have to be your significant other. It could be somebody around you that's just constantly knocking you down. But if you find the truth in what they're saying, why am I insulted by that? You can change it, and then you can become a better person. And by the time you're a better person, you don't even want to be around that person anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, now you're just going to know if, earlier on with people. Like,
Yeah.
But
I'm
again,
just
I
saying
agree
it
with
helps.
Brian. I wouldn't say that's abuse. I think
Sure.
that's, I hate to shift it all on you, but I think the toleration of things is actually I wouldn't call it abuse, but if you're going to call that thing abuse, I would just say that's like self-inflicted abuse. Really.
And I feel like people take advantage of that. Not that it's still your problem at the end of the day. And that's what I meant by everything I just said.
Yeah.
Is you do have the power. Like if somebody's doing that, you can change it.
It is
basically,
abuse.
and just how to
Wait,
do
what?
it
You-
simply.
Oh my
It is
god.
abuse.
What?
This is literally like.
It's just
Wait,
verbal
you
abuse.
think
If she says, "Hey, I don't like this. Please stop," and you keep doing it, and you keep harassing her with those same
Bro.
behaviors, that is abuse.
Well, there's a form
So
of
just
verbal
to be
abuse,
clear,
though.
hold on. So just to be clear, one of the examples she gave when I asked her to give me a better example of the supposed and alleged abuse was, I cleaned the kitchen, my boyfriend came home, and he did not, to a satisfactory degree,
Yeah, because some people
acknowledge
do that
me
on
cleaning.
purpose. They do that on
Yeah,
purpose
sorry.
to
Hello.
manipulate you.
Let's go back down to reality. A boyfriend not acknowledging that you cleaned the shared living space, that's not abuse. Maybe I'll accept it's inconsiderate, maybe. I actually don't think it's
But
even
she's saying
that.
that it's also on so many other levels that this is happening.
Yeah, like it's like.
Like it's not just like her.
Yeah, but your
Okay.
standard for abuse is super low. Like you
Yeah.
said, doing something and someone asks you to stop and you keep doing it. I crop dust my wife over and over again.
What does
She
that-
says stop.
What does that mean?
She told me to stop.
Talk to me like I'm dumb
She,
for a second.
I fart
Explain crop
and I
dust.
trap her.
Okay.
Okay.
So you don't have any responsibility.
Oh, boy.
No, I will
Because
not
you-
stop.
Okay, well,
Is that
Well,
abuse?
yeah, I mean, yeah.
yeah, because she won't leave you.
Like, I
And there's
have a-
crop
What
dust in her.
What? That's
there's
why
crop
it's
dust in her
not-
all the
what?
time.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
What?
Like, I'm gonna come on here and be honest with you. I like to say a lot of like weird slurs or whatever sometimes. You know what I mean? And I use that against my men. And they tell me all the time, like, hey, stop. Like, this makes me, uncomfortable, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And it's like something that I just do. And I understand that it's abusive in their head because they don't like it. They don't.
But
they
you keep
ask
doing
me
it.
to stop.
But you keep doing
know?
it, right?
Sometimes it just slips out. But if I feel like it's too disrespectful, like the other day I called one of my dudes the B word.
Okay.
And he was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, no, dude, I'm sorry.
Can I
But
add-
like even
I mean-
to this
Wait.
point, it is abusive.
Now I want to know what the B word
It
Is
is
it
abusive. It's
Biatch?
degrading.
Wait, biatch?
Wait.
Yeah,
Is it-
bitch.
Oh, you
nah,
can say that.
that's probably okay.
But-
we try to avoid it, but it's probably fine.
No, you're
Wait,
fine.
what
but-
were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a form of it that it could be verbal, but I wouldn't go to the extent and say it's just straight abuse. Kind of like you said, that makes your standard low. Because what does that make other people's situations? Like, I used to get, like, beat the shit out of, dude. Like, that's abuse, you know? Like, someone could be mean to you and be inconsiderate, not think about how you're feeling, whatever. But that's kind of just mean, you know? I wouldn't say it's abuse. Like, verbal abuse is one thing, but...
Yeah, so it's in a different...
Well, it's
Assault is different.
Are you saying you ain't seen shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I get it.
Man.
You don't know that.
You know what
That's
this
insane.
reminds me of?
Harassment is still abusive, regardless.
It's just annoying.
Yeah.
No, it's
I think-
still abusive.
I think
I'll be right back.
being annoying or being inconsiderate. I don't think these are good
So if
things,
someone
but I don't think
started
it's
just
abuse.
popping up outside the door like every day, you're not saying that that's abusive.
No.
That's scary,
That's,
right?
No, harassment is
No,
illegal.
that's harassment.
No, it's
Therefore,
legal. That's illegal. That's
It doesn't matter if it's illegal. It's still abusive.
No. You don't go to court
It's
and
still
hold on a
abusive.
second.
Some people
Hold on
don't give a
second.
fuck about that.
when did we even forward the position that it's acceptable to like stalk somebody?
Right.
We never said that.
You guys are sitting here saying
Does the
harassment
judge
isn't abusive.
does the
we didn't
judge
say that.
does
What?
the judge say, and we order you, this fine or this jail time for abuse or harassment?
It's the same thing. What are you talking about?
No. There's certain activities and you call them harassment, right? It's not. You don't let there. It's like,
Harassment still is another way of saying abusive
I don't-
actions.
well, you're violating
Are
something.
you-
No, you're violating something.
You're
Abuse.
abusing-
No. You could do legal abuse, right? From your perspective. Legal.
Yeah.
Okay. So
do it all the time.
So the thing that makes harassment a thing is that it's illegal. It's a legal problem.
Okay.
But you can harass people online, and like you're gonna have to find this threshold of when something's abusive or not. And she's telling you, you're really diminishing what abuse actually is for
I
other
hear
people.
what you're saying.
Really.
And I'm sorry if it comes off to
No,
you
I
that
see
way,
what,
because
I
I'm
see
not
what you're
saying
trying
that
to say.
whatsoever.
I'm just trying to make it clear. Abuse is assault. Abuse is putting hands on someone. Abuse is hurting someone else physically. Abuse is not annoying somebody and pissing them off. It's hitting somebody, dude. It's hurting them. It's trapping them. Like, there's so much shit. It's crazy. You're calling being outside somebody's room of fucking abusive. It's crazy. Really?
Yeah, no. A lot of times whenever people are that crazy to actually continue to give you a reaction or whatever, or try to force you to have a reaction or whatever, it's because they're trying to hurt you in some sort of way, whether it's physical, mental, whatever.
Sure.
Like, that's part of like cults and stuff like that. They're literally doing abusive shit to you to get you into the cult. So like, make it make sense to me.
Wait, hold on. So okay, people showing up at your place of residence uninvited. You ask them to leave. They keep coming back.
That's abusive, yes.
Yeah, that's harassment.
That's
That's
harassment.
abuse. But
It's
that's
a
not
scale,
what we're-
right? It's a spectrum, right?
Yeah, but we're
so
not-
it's on still the thing of abuse.
We agree
like, it
with
doesn't
you.
Matter.
We agree with you. But the example she provided where the boyfriend didn't acknowledge her cleaning and maybe was just like, that's not abusive.
Or shit
I
communication.
just don't think that she wants to devolve into like actually stuff that happens to her if it triggers her. But something like that, like, I can understand.
Her boyfriend
'Cause it
didn't
happens all
abuse
the
her,
time.
but the relationship long term was abusive to her.
I'm
Because if
not
she
going to
asks
grant
you to
that.
change-
I'm not granting
what
that.
I'm-
I don't
what-
care.
what
I'm not
my
gra- I'm
take
not
is
granting
that,
that, Tiffany. Sorry.
the only way that comes to my mind is when she started thinking that he's doing this on purpose to hurt her feeling, to be able to have control over her. That is the only way that you can say that's abusive, because she got to the point that she felt like, okay, so you're doing it on purpose to hurt my feeling, knowing this kind of communication.
Yeah,
will
but this
hurt
is
me.
this is where women never take responsibility. If they're the ones who know what's happening and they're describing it as XYZ, in this case abuse, they have some weird excuse to stay in the situation, right? Every time.
She left. She said that she left, but that's how she got to the conclusion that he was trying to abuse.
Was she abusing
verbally
me?
abuse her.
I felt abused by this woman
She
who
was not answering
who
the question.
refused to just like answer my question.
Is that
Yo,
abuse?
No,
yo,
you
chat.
were
Am I
abusing her.
am I an abuse
Wait,
victim?
she says you're abusing.
I
her.
heard
Yeah.
that. She says that I was abusive towards her.
But she already told you, like, even
Yeah, she didn't
if
answer
it
the question.
was
She didn't answer the question.
Let's say, like, she said, even if
Wait.
it was a question
Oh,
on a
perfect.
fucking quiz,
Let me ask you a
right?
question. Do
She
you know,
wouldn't
yeah,
answer it
I love
if that
this.
was the
I
question.
love this.
So she already answered
Sure,
it.
I love this. Do you know what stonewalling is? Is stonewalling abusive to do in a relationship?
Wait, I don't know what that means.
You don't know what stonewalling
Yeah,
is?
no, please
Here, I'll
explain.
Google it for you just so I give you the perfect definition.
You got to remember, I have never been in a relationship, so is that just like someone
It's like, the silent treatment, a destructive communication
for
pattern
sure.
where someone emotionally disengages and becomes unresponsive, shutting down a conversation or interaction can be a form of emotional abuse. I was being
According
abused
to that
by that
standard.
woman because she was
but you
stonewalling.
also hounding her, and she already gave her
Non-answer.
I think it's a perfectly when you've been invited to come on a conversational discussion show. Hold on. There's an anticipation that questions are going to be asked. I think it was a reasonable question to
understand.
ask her. It was a hypothetical question, and I was like, "Hey, look, answer one or the other." She didn't do it.
I understand. I think that her problem is that
Tell us
the
her problem.
question had
Tell us her problem.
SA involved in it, and therefore
Bruh.
she didn't want to answer it whatsoever. She didn't want
Here, wait,
to.
let me-
It doesn't
wait,
matter.
hold on. Let me ask you-
what angle.
I wish I did this. I'll ask. This is what I should have asked her. I'll ask you. If you could get rid, would you get rid of all men?
I already
hold
said
on.
yes.
Wait, hold on. Here, I'm changing it.
Okay.
I'm going to change it. Okay, so would you get rid of all men to prevent one essay?
Well, if it's just one, no.
Okay, so then, like, I guess where's the threshold? Like,
Well, like I said, from my experience, most people have taken advantage of me. So for me, and from my experience, I'm like,
So what's the number though?
Most people-
If it's not one, he's asking what is the number? Is it
about-
five?
I already said 80%.
wait, no, that's not what we're talking. How about let's say to prevent 1,000 different women being essayed once, would you get rid of all men?
1,000 women is a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's crazy. I wish I asked that to her. That would have been
Yeah, that's
that would have been interesting.
yeah. The threshold is really the question. In the end, it's like, what's the threshold?
You know what? What do you think, Jim Bob? Do you think for the question of to prevent one essay, would you get rid of all men? Do you think she would have granted, like she would have been like, well, no, I'm not for one? Mm-hmm. Or do you think she would have still been like?
She would have
annoying
said,
or
"No, I'm
whatever?
not answering." Yeah, I can't answer that. She would just avoid the.
Good times. Okay, we have a couple chats here that I'm going to pull up. That birch, birchwood. Keep this one away from my wood. Are you a fan of what do you think about like driftwood? You know, that the beach that washes up on the beach.
Is that
I mean,
dead
it's
to
cool
you?
to look at. Yeah, I like nature just a lot.
Do you have any? Never mind. I'm not going to
No,
answer
ask
that.
it, please.
Christopher Murphy says, I have a friend named Sugar Maple. He said he was trunk deep in you, alien. He filled you up with syrup and you never called him back for round 2. He feels abused.
Sounds like me, yeah.
Wow, that's really abusive of you, alien. That's crazy. Okay, well. What is going on back there? How many people do we have out of their seats? We got
3.
They're getting antsy.
Oh, wait. Yo, Naz, do you want to call? You got a daughter, right? Do you want to call her to come be on the show?
I'm trying.
Yeah, get her. Let's have her join the show. We got an empty chair. Get her to join the panel. Get her to join the panel. Boys, this could be guys. Chat. This could be the first ever mother-daughter appearance on the Whatever podcast. If she got chat, help convince Naz to bring her daughter on. Mother-daughter, good times. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the winter of my discontent. Okay, I don't know. That's like 2 different fucking things combined. Tiffany, do you have any statements, thoughts, feelings, opinions? Didn't think so.
About-
Okay, anyways,
about
next.
what?
Wait, what?
About what?
I don't know. Just anything.
No.
What do you think about like Trump's immigration policy?
Horrible.
You want more people deported.
Yeah, Obama deported more people than him.
I see. Okay, you think Trump's slacking on the immigration?
Definitely.
Okay, that's cool.